Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video may contain explicit descriptions of drug use, violence, and sexual situations. Viewer discretion is advised as this content may not be suitable for all audiences.
Hello and welcome to this video. Once again, we return to the world of Hunter S. Thompson through his novel Kingdom of Fear. Last video we ended at the start of, 1972, not necessarily the start of 1972, but in 1972. So without further ado, let's get into this thing.
Memo from the sheriff. An anonymous quote. Hunter asks a lot of his friends, but he gives so much. One early winter morning, I looked out the window to see Hunter walking to my door.
Uh-oh. This when he tells stories about himself from the viewpoint of somebody else, it kind of gets, sometimes it's hard to track.
I've never seen Hunter before 10 a.m. except maybe in court. He'd come to ask me if I'd accompany him to Louisville, where he'd be honored with the key to the city the following day. I immediately agreed.
Yeah, I think if Hunter S. Thompson would have come to me and asked me to hang out with him, I would have been all in. I know I would be all in.
At 7:30 the next morning, Hunter was getting ready. We had an 8:30 flight. At 8, he asked me what time I had. I said, 8. He said, Christ, I've got 7:30. That's anti-airport time.
You just gotta love Thompson's way of weaving words. It's just perfect.
I knew what he meant. We passed 20 cars in a row on a snow-packed Mountain 2 lane to make the plane. Hunter complimented my driving. I had a premonition that this road trip might involve some work.
I think any road trip, anything involving Hunter S. Thompson would involve some work.
It took all day to get to Louisville. Wayne Ewing had been on the ground, and the event seemed well organized. We checked into the hotel with pseudonyms: A. Lincoln, D. Boone.
Hey, you do what you gotta do sometimes.
Hunter's suite had a dining room and 40 or 50 shrimp cocktails.
Damn.
The next day, the only obligation before the evening event was a sound check at the auditorium.
Sound check. Check sound. I do that before. I've started doing that before I start recording. I pull up the audio input little thingy. It's a little box on my screen. So, yeah. I understand the whole sound check thing now.
Warren Zevon, Johnny Depp, Hunter's son Juan, many more of Hunter's friends and I were parts of the show. Hunter was happy. He shot Zevon in the back with a huge fire extinguisher while Warren rehearsed at the piano.
I can relate. I've done silly stuff like that before.
Scared the shit out of him. We had a sedan DeVille delivered to the auditorium so Hunter could get away at will. He wanted to buy a bullwhip to snap during the show.
Hey, bullwhips are a good thing to have just to fuck with normies. It just kind of makes the world go around.
2 co-eds from the university who had been assigned to assist guided us to a huge leather store. Hunter didn't like the action of any of the whips, but bought the co-eds shoes and jackets. We spent the afternoon cruising basketball.
I'm going to be honest, that would be me. If I had the money that Thompson had and the things, was in the places that he was in the time, especially in the time period he was, I'd be like that. Whoever was, hanging out with me, I would take care of. That just seems the polite thing to do. If you have the means to do it, and you got, some people hanging out with you, you take care of them. That just seems the polite thing to do. It may be the Texan in me that, you take care of people.
Ball Alley, Cherokee Park, and memories from Hunter's youth. No trouble. Yet. Just before the big show, Hunter asked me to tell the organizer that he wouldn't appear on stage until a brown paper bag, stuffed with cash, was delivered. Jesus. I started my request by saying, I'm not used to this.
But, why? You've got to wonder what, on things like that, what is running through Thompson's head? Why is he just screwing with people? Does he have a plan? Does he have an agenda? What's going on here? It's just craziness.
But 2 minutes before kickoff, I gave Hunter the bag. He asks a lot of his friends. The ceremony was a high-quality love fest. A poetess read her ode to Hunter, and he became entranced. At 4 a.m., Hunter was behind the wheel, on the way to drop the woman off at her door. Hunter threaded the pride of Detroit between granite retaining walls and huge elm.
Well, he was Hunter. Thing is about Hunter S. Thompson. He was a very, very very open and very forthcoming about his adultery. Cost him one wife, and his second wife was I guess she just figured, I love him, he's going to fuck around on me. That's just the way life is, and I don't know.
With 1/32 of an inch to spare, driving on the goddamn sidewalk.
At risk of incriminating myself, I have at times in a small motor vehicle I have driven next to the road in a couple places in Huntsville, Texas. Like I said, I won't say I was driving on the sidewalk. I was just driving next to the road.
I saw trouble everywhere. Hunter, get back on the street. Every yuppie in these antebellum mansions is dialing 911. What will you say to the cops?
That just may have been it. Thompson may have been just doing that to have something to say to the cops. You never know with Thompson. It's just crazy the way the things that he comes up with. The reason why he would I hit a button on my keyboard. Just the craziness of the stuff he does.
Hunter told me that I worry too much. We dropped the poetess off and went to the hotel. No trouble, no arrests. On our last day in Louisville, Hunter visited Virginia, his mother, at her nursing home outside of the city.
Yeah, I don't remember. It may get into his familial relations, but I don't think they were bad. I don't think they were excessively close or anything, but I don't think they were bad.
Juan and I and Bambi, a stripper, drove out with him. Bambi wanted Hunter to sign her ass so she could replicate it with a tattoo. I dropped Juan and Hunter.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
At the Episcopal Care Center and said I'd kill an hour in a bar with Bambi. I spent the hour looking for a bar in a dry county.
Oh my. I grew up in a dry county. I grew up in Carpus Cove. Coryell County, where Carpus Cove is located in Texas, when I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, was a dry county, and you had clubs. You had to be a member of a club, and they served alcohol. And one of the more notorious places was a place called the Railhead. That was, let's just say, their ID checking wasn't really up to snuff, and certain carnal activities were engaged in at that place. Also some fairly decent fights.
Life is a gradual release from ignorance. When we got back to the assisted living center, I escorted Bambi to the bathroom to the
Assisted living center? Oh, that's right. He's visiting his mom. I thought maybe for some reason my brain was thinking that's where Bambi lived, but it is what it is. Strippers get strippers. Some of them go a little too long.
the large day room. Her micro skirt, high boots, and makeup caused a lot of old dudes to skid stop their walkers.
I could just picture that. I mean, I can see that in my brain. That's one of the things that the silly putty between my ears is good about, is conjuring up pictures.
Virginia had invited most of her relatives to visit with her and Hunter. He was ready to bolt from this quality time with Mom. We went back to the hotel, Bambi disappeared sans autograph, and Zevon and I had dinner. No trouble, no arrests.
I'm waiting for the shoe to fall. This is Hunter S. Thompson, so the shoe at some point's going to fall.
The journey home started to get strange when, during climb out, with the plane aimed at the sun at a 45-degree angle, Hunter clawed his way to the forward first-class head. Even though the cabin was full of United personnel, nobody said anything. Maybe...
I mean, come on. You're a airplane, airline employee, and Hunter S. Thompson, shows up. Who you gonna tell that it's, it's Hunter S. Thompson, come on.
It was because, just prior to this walk, Hunter let out a 30-second, 2-octave, head-splitting rebel yell. Just what people like to hear during takeoff, he's...
Last time I was on an airplane, the only reason why I didn't do anything crazy like that is because the wife was with me, and yeah. And I love my wife, and I don't want her doing, very evil physical things to me in my sleep, and I do like, conjugating verbs with her, so, it's one of those things.
Said. After we got to flight level and the seatbelt sign went off, a line formed at the door to the restroom. The flight attendant came to me and asked, "Just what is your friend doing in there?" Without hesitation, I lied.
I think we've all been there and done that.
He's had bad diarrhea all day. "Oh, no problem," she said, and herded the line with whispers aft. A half hour later, the door opened and Hunter sat down to my left. "Just what were you doing in there?" I asked. "Oh, I took a little bath."
Uh-oh.
Shaved, changed clothes. Any problem? Nope. No trouble? No arrest? Hunter said that traveling with me was like traveling with Superman. Oliver always said that if Hunter got crazy at his own home, we could just leave. I couldn't leave him in Louisville. I never would.
That's a friend for you. That's the sign of a friend who's able to weather the storm with you and somehow keeps you from doing stupid, crazy things to get arrested or contract an STD. Or back then it was VD. They hadn't become STD yet. And I think they have something new now. I don't know. But back then it was VD. So yeah, we'll go ahead and call this good here. And until next time, everyone, be a good human. Be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?